This is Blade Radio. Blade Radio. You're listening to Blade Radio. Blade Radio. You're listening to Blade Radio. Blade Radio. This is Blade Radio.
Shout out to all of you out there. This is DJ Edge of Blade Radio, coming straight to your speakers for the ultimate listening experience.
Hello to all the listeners, DJ Saber here. As always, we've got only the best mix of driving music and the widest collection of car accessories and car care services under one roof for you.
That is absolutely right, Saber. So, go ahead, look around, browse through the aisles, and talk to our friendly staff. You'll surely find what you're looking for here at Blade Auto Center.
Meanwhile, let's get right back to the music.
Only here on Blade Radio.
Hey! Hi, Kabladers! It's me again, and I'm back. Earlier, we had the Light Club Pilipinas during my 11 a.m. shift, and now in my 2 p.m. shift, well, I've got a really popular and controversial special guest. But before I introduce him, of course, I hope that everyone is sharing and liking and subscribing to our social media. So we are live right now here at Facebook, YouTube, Shopee, and Lazada. All right. And of course, we'd like to thank our sponsors. We have Dub Project, Micro Magic, Sparkle Clipper, Gift Shop, Pertua, Type S, Bosch, and Verbatim. All right. Okay. I know that every one of you are excited with our special, popular, and controversial guest. So I am not going to waste time anymore. So I'm going to introduce him right now. Is he ready? Is he ready? I hope he's ready. I don't see him. Aha, yes, I do see him. All right, so everyone, here we have Jobert Bolanos, the chairman of Motorcycle Rights Organization. Sikat na sikat tong taong to. Grabe. Hindi lang popular, controversial pa. Di ba, Jobert?
Hindi naman masyado.
Medyo lang.
Good afternoon. Hello, everyone.
And thank you, Jobert, for being my second guest for the day.
Of course.
And of course, like I said earlier, yung mga bladers, pasensya na if medyo ninenervyos pa ako because this is my first day here at Blade Moto. So bear with me. Pero please send us messages if you have any, if you want special greetings, shout outs, and may angal kayo tungkol kay Jobert, message nyo lang kami and we'll try to read everything na mga pinadala nyo sa amin. So, Jobert, no, to start everything, sa mga bladers dyan who don't know what is Motorcycle Rights Organization, baka you can give us a summary of your group.
Okay. Motorcycle Rights Organization is an advocacy group. We focus on rider rights and we basically talk about issues regarding laws, enforcement, and ordinances. We usually talk with government and we actually help in the creation of new laws. Currently, we are engaged in a case regarding the Doble Placa law or yung RA 11235. That's one of the things that we are focused on currently. But other than that, we work to provide riders with legal knowledge as far as road use, motorcycle use, rules and regulations are concerned. So, bukod doon, we also focus on safety and education for all motorcycle users around the country.
And to ano no, for the awareness of our bladers, Jobert, no, motorcycle rights organization is not just how do I call this? It's not just based here in Manila, but it's nationwide.
It's actually nationwide. We have a rider base of over 100,000 members. That's all over the Philippines, from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. We actually have members from different parts of the world. Meron tayong MRO Dubai, meron tayong MRO Macau, we have MRO Australia, and MRO West Coast in the US.
So hindi lang pala nationwide ang MRO, it's worldwide.
It's somewhat worldwide,
International, diba?
but the focus is mainly here in the Philippines.
Okay. Of course, kasi yung mga issue, lahat it's here sa ano
Yes.
sa Pilipinas. So you mentioned earlier that tawag nito, that actually itong doble plaka issue is not the pinaka-latest, although I think it's the
No.
pinaka focused on right now.
It's the heaviest case that we have, that we're handling right now. Ano? We have a case. We filed in court regarding the penalties and the safety issues surrounding doble placa. That's just one of it. But again, in aid of legislation, anything surrounding motorcycle users, we actually get involved in. But yun yung main focus natin.
All right. So kamusta na yung status with regards to how do we call it? Do we call it fighting or appealing for this doble placa law?
Right now, the case is on the discussion of the injunction. So technically, naka-TRO na siya because LTO has agreed to suspend the implementation of the law until December.
Okay.
So there is no implementation except for the distribution of the rear plates. Other than that, as far as implementation is concerned, a change of ownership, and when it comes to the requirement that you should have a plate at the back and a decal in front, that's suspended until next year. So technically, naka-TRO na tayo. So the discussion right now is on the injunction based on the inconsistencies nung batas against the Philippine Constitution. So there's some constitutional issues that we want the courts to address, and we're asking the courts to basically scrap this law because it's already redundant. We already have the same type of law which is applied to all vehicles, not just motorcycles.
So grabe pala yung how do you call this? Yung doble plaka law, kapag natuloy yan, grabe talaga yung hassles.
Well, bukod dun sa hassle, the penalty kasi is basically it's anti-humanitarian kasi motorcycle lang yung may penalty na ganun kataas. So if you lose a plate or if your plate is unreadable, you can be penalized 50,000 pesos or ikukulong ka.
50,000 pesos.
Yes. And
Can you imagine a regular individual or a regular rider who just probably makes minimum wage? So kapag pag may violations, he has to pay 50,000 pesos.
That's correct. Or makukulong siya or both. When sa ibang sasakyan, for example, on a car, if you lose a plate and you get apprehended, you're not paying more than 5,000 pesos. So there's already a disparity as far as the treatment of the law is concerned. And it's like saying na all riders are already suspected of being criminals, even if they are not. So with that said, there is a constitutional issue there. That's why we brought it to court, because we want our laws to be fair to all. So if it's not applied to all, it shouldn't apply at all. That's what we're trying to say.
So basically, bakit nga nagka-doble plaka? Is it supposed to be to stop crimes ba dapat yung doble plakang law na yan?
The intention is to curb crimes committed by criminals who use motorcycles.
Okay.
But the thing is, it's not just motorcycles that criminals use. Okay. just because criminals like to use a particular mode of transportation, you can already punish everyone else who's riding a motorcycle. That's not how laws are supposed to be made. We're supposed to be protecting the innocent. We're not supposed to turn the innocent into suspects. Okay, so they're innocent until proven guilty. But because of this law, we're being treated like criminals already, and that's
Or
not.
should we say, damay-damay lahat?
Oh, so we're being made to pay for the crimes of the real perpetrators. And besides, criminals don't just use motorcycles. In
Exactly.
fact, during the time of the pandemic, during the quarantine, the murders that happened recently were committed by SUV and car donning criminals. Yung nangyari sa Manila, yung nangyari sa Sariaya, these are people using a different type of vehicle. And at the same time, you cannot just, apply one particular preventive measure to just a select road user. It has to be, it has to be across the board, everywhere. Any type of vehicle dapat yan. So that's one of the things that we do as an organization. And at the same time, we also help government in creating laws that are fair and kumbaga, for all road users, for the benefit of all road users.
Yeah. So, grabe, no? I mean, like, can you imagine okay, kasi yung mga ibang kabladers dyan, I'm sure, yes, aware sila sa this doble plaka issue, but they're not pa rin about the full details. Kasi nakakatawa the title eh. It says doble plaka, so 2 license plates.
Well, the intention is to prevent crime. Okay, that's the gist of the law. Okay, it's a Motorcycle Crime Prevention Act. That's the title.
Okay.
But with the title itself, it's like saying that just because you're using a motorcycle, there's a tendency already of you doing a crime. Crime prevention is not just a problem with motorcycle users. It's a problem with everyone because crimes can be committed in any way. In fact, there's crimes committed on the internet. There's crimes committed by people who merely walk down the street, drive cars, and so on and so forth. So it's the person doing the crime. It is not the vehicle type. But since it was focused on motorcycle only, there's a sense of discrimination, a sense of segregation against motorcycle users. Parang ang baba ng tingin nila sa lahat ng mga rider.
That's right.
Ang laban natin kasi dito is, according to the Bill of Rights, there should be equal protection from the laws. And since nakafocus lang siya sa motorcycle user, the equality has been neglected or set aside. And then at the same time, there is no due process on the law itself because mawalan ka lang ng plaka, you're already subjected to the penalties stipulated in the law. Pero hindi mo man kasalanan na mawalan ka ng plaka. Everybody can lose a plate. Any type of vehicle on the road. Hindi naman perfect ang kalsada natin dito sa Pilipinas.
Yes.
We have road condition that we have to worry about. And hindi lahat ng kalsada ayos, and then there's wear and tear. So any type of vehicle can lose a plate, but it doesn't mean you're a criminal if you lose a plate. You just lost the plate.
Correct.
Dito sa batas na to, by mere losing a plate or if your plate is unreadable, you're already being penalized 50,000 to 100,000 pesos. Or you could be jailed or you can get both. Kulong ka na, bayad ka pa.
Right. Pero Jobert, diba parang ang unfair naman na ang mga motorcycle riders are being treated this way, or itong law na to applies lang sa motorcycle riders? Kasi di ba parang ang mga criminal, they're not gonna use their own motorcycles, di ba?
That's the thing. Criminals will not use their own vehicles to commit a crime. So kahit na kabitan mo ng poster size na plaka yan, if that's not, it's not registered under their name, it's registered to someone else, you're implicating someone else for the crime.
Correct, di ba?
Naintindihan ko na kailangan natin makita yung plaka, especially with the use of CCTV systems right now. We understand the importance of having readable plates. But again, if it's a heinous crime that you're going to commit, like robbing someone, robbing a bank,
Right.
or doing the most, yung pinaka karumal-dumal na, like attempting a murder, you would use your own vehicle for that, diba? Otherwise, they can trace it back to you.
Yes.
So that's one thing. And like we said, tulad nung nangyari sa prosecutor of Manila who recently got murdered in Manila also, the vehicle was seen, but it was using a plate not registered to that particular vehicle. It was registered to someone else.
Right.
And the other vehicle that assisted, walang plaka, wala ring conduction sticker, so there's no way to trace. And then the idea of having a decal in front, which is so small, the decal is so small, the law says and stipulates that it has to be readable 15 meters away. For one, hindi siya mababasa 15 meters away because it's so small. The next one, who in their right mind would go in front of an approaching criminal to look at the plate? Siyempre, you would look at the plate when the criminal passes you. Titignan mo siya behind, not in front. Kung sagasaan at bariling ka niyan, di ba? So, it's very questionable. And the reason why we're fighting this is nakatutok lang kasi siya sa motorcycle rider. Ganun kababa at ganun kasama yung tingin nila sa lahat ng mga nagmumotorsiklo. And
as if naman walang criminal na gumagamit ng kotse.
That's exactly.
Or criminal na naglalakad lang naman, di ba?
Oh, and in fact, we even have criminals stealing away the money of the taxpayers, di ba? So, these are things that are very neglective of our Constitution. The Constitution was created in order for us to be protected from laws such as this.
I remember that there was a previous supposed to be law na hindi natuloy, which was called the Placa Vest. Remember?
Yes, that's one.
It's a good thing hindi natuloy yun.
That's one of our accomplishments, actually. We fought it head on. When it started in Marikina and it continued in Quezon City, we were able to convince the mayor to not go through with it. Mabuti na lang mabait at nakikinig si Mayor Herbert Bautista at the time. And he sided with the riding community. So hindi natuloy yung batas na yon kasi nga, again, although the intention is good, the way it's implemented is not proper. And that's what we need to protect it. Otherwise, it will set a precedence na they can dictate everything in such a way na our rights as motorists natatapakan na. Hindi na tulad nung sa iba. So, if you can't afford a car, you can be treated like a criminal. So, these are the things that we focus on. But most importantly, bukod sa mga problema natin sa mga batas, ordinances, and national laws like this, we also focus on safety and education. So, on safety naman, we engage in programs such as sharing of knowledge, doing riders training, and then we teach them about the laws. Siyempre, dapat maging aware sila sa lahat ng batas dito sa kalsada. You can just get a vehicle, get a license, and start driving without knowing the rules and regulations.
Correct.
And then we teach riders the proper way of using the road. Okay, kasi being on the road and driving a vehicle is not a right; it's a privilege. We understand that. But
Right.
once you earn that privilege, once you earn that, once you apply for a license and your registration, you earn certain rights. And for us to enjoy those rights, we have to be aware of the regulations and we have to follow them. And we have to also be courteous enough to share the road with everyone else.
That's right. Kasi I'm sure you, not just I, not just you, but all road users have this, how do you call this? Nawawala yung respect and the courtesy.
Yeah,
Especially especially during traffic.
that's very much prevalent here in the Philippines kasi nga number one problem talaga natin is discipline. Okay, there are so many road users who don't have the proper discipline. If you go to different places, different countries, makikita mo how they interact with each other and the reason why their traffic is so much better than ours in the Philippines kasi sila doon may disiplina, tayo dito may problema. Bagaman mas marami talagang rider sa Pilipinas kaysa sa car driver. So ang focus nila sa motorcycle. Pero the problem of discipline is with everyone, not just riders. It's with car drivers, it's with public transport, it's with everyone.
Right.
Meron talaga dyan na tao na ayaw silang nauunahan o ayaw nilang nasisingitan sila.
Yeah, it's that kind of attitude here.
Yeah, oo, yung laging ako una, ako lagi. So that's one of the problems that we have to face. And for us, the best way really to address the situation is, to focus on the proper implementation of the existing laws, not to create new ones, but to enforce the existing ones first. Once we enforce them properly and strictly, okay, ang tao matatakot mahuli. Take for example, Subic. Pagka nakasubik ang tao, lahat ng road users sumusunod sa rules and regulations ng Subic. Pero the moment they go out of Subic, hindi na sila sumusunod.
Actually, not only Subic, I think Clark as well.
Yeah, Clark, they're very strict. So if enforcement is strict in implementing existing laws, everyone will fall into that area of discipline.
Do you think they're takot sila because of the penalties?
Well, not just that. Kasi these areas, though they are controlled areas, managed kasi yung enforcement. So if we can manage our enforcement on the public roads and highways and treat every road user fairly, okay, hindi yung nakafocus ka lang, nakafocus ka lang sa tricycle dito, nakafocus ka lang sa motorsiklo doon, nakafocus ka lang sa truck dito. When you apply a law, it has to be everyone. Wala kang pinipili, wala kang sinisino, wala kang pinapaboran.
Yes.
So on that, people will learn that, if the laws are implemented strictly, matatakot silang mahuli and mafo-force silang sumunod sa batas.
Right.
But right now, very selective kasi ang ating pamamalakad, very selective and very pinipili yung hinuhuli. So hindi nagiging pantay o patas yung pagpapatupad ng batas. And that
Kaya nga may kasabihan, di ba? The law applies to all, otherwise none at all.
Yes, that's correct. And right now, because of the pandemic also, alam ng lahat na ang motorsiklo ang nagpapatakbo ng ekonomiya.
Right.
The deliveries, the messengers.
Yeah, of course. We'll do a special shout out to the delivery guys, delivery frontliners,
yes,
who are risking their lives and of course, making meeting ends, trying to. Yes. Grabe. Yun. I salute all these delivery guys. Malaking bagay sila, especially during this pandemic.
Oh, they keep the economy rolling in spite of the lockdowns and such. So, para sa kanila, sa enforcement natin, itong mga taong to kumikita. So there are prime target right now. Target sila ng enforcement dahil nga alam nilang kumikita yung mga delivery boys natin eh. So napag-iinitan, and sometimes nakakalungkot lang like for example yung nangyari dun sa pizza delivery guy in BGC na pinagtulungan ng enforcement ng BGC. There were at least 10 enforcers that surrounded him. He hasn't even been there for more than a minute. He just stopped to send a message to the person who requested for the delivery. He was not part. He was there. He was not. He did not even leave the vehicle. So, he can be accosted to leave or find a different place to stop or send a message to his yung nagpa-deliver. But instead, they treated him like, he was already there for hours on end. Samantalang he was not even there for more than a minute.
Okay, so how is this delivery guy right now?
Well,
was anyone able to defend him, fight for him?
Well, yeah, actually, in-address naman ito ng City Council ng Taguig. And they're helping him out right now, and they're also addressing the way he was treated by the BGC enforcement. Again,
so far BGC, or is it Taguig City?
Taguig City ang nag-respond, yeah.
Okay, that's good. So I hope he's okay now.
Well, he did feel a little traumatized with what happened kasi he really felt like he was a criminal and he was just trying to deliver pizza. The thing is, he was not even obstructing traffic. Buti sana kung huminto ka and you're obstructing traffic behind you. And, there's really a concern there. But he was on the side of the road. He was stopped in a safe place. Hindi naman siya pwedeng tumatakbo, pumipindot siya sa kanyang cellphone. In order to be safe, you really have to stop before you can operate your cell phone. That's also against the law.
Yes.
So, alam mo yun, and we have a rule na you can stop on the side for a certain period of time until you become a violator. So, his right to be there for just a couple of minutes was ignored, and he was immediately issued a citation ticket. So talagang naharas yung rider, and he's just delivering food. And then there are places also na bago ka makapasok ng village, they ask you to remove your helmet.
Yes, may mga ganun.
Your license, and so on and so forth. You have to pay a fee of additional 50 pesos in order for you to deliver in that particular place. These are other things also that happen with our delivery riders. So, nararamdaman namin yung paghihirap nila, and some companies now are actually implementing certain parameters on their riding, on their fleet. The riders feel that they are being, their hard-earned money is being taken away from them by the policies that are being implemented right now, and there are no laws protecting the riders. Kawawa talaga.
And then Jobert, I saw earlier here splashing our screen, it was a question about paano daw, what's this? I saw it earlier, yung mga bogus orders daw, yung mga scam orders.
Yes.
I saw it earlier. Yan. Sir and ma'am, paano po natin matutulungan ng mga Grab riders na puro bogus orders? Kawawa naman po sila.
Actually, there is a law already. There's a law, and we're just waiting for its passing. And then on the implementing rules and regulations, we have been already asked to participate in the creation of the implementing rules and regulations. The intention of the law is to protect the delivery riders from bogus orders. Okay, so it has to be done in such a way na everyone registering on a delivery app should at least present a valid ID of sort. so that may accountability tayo dun sa mga nagpe-place ng order.
Okay.
And at the same time, there is going to be a delivery insurance policy na i-apply for the companies that accept these deliveries, the companies that have the apps. May insurance sila so that when someone is victimized by a bogus or error in the system that caused him to shell out money, may insurance para bumalik sa kanya yung pera niya.
Right. So you mean to say, itong mga fake orders, bogus orders, scam orders, they're not traceable?
Currently, no. Kasi it's so easy to get a SIM card and then register on the app and then you can place order. Okay? So there's no way of tracing these guys. You can trace them, but it's really very hard. You can't pinpoint them. But if you go for the system of, for example, sa cashless, so you're required to register a debit or credit card. May trace yun. Pero for cash orders, for example, yung cash on delivery, so wala tayong protection in place right now para do sa cash on delivery transaction.
Okay.
So the only way for us to make, to put accountability on everyone who uses the app, they have to present a valid ID so that we can apply accountability. So these are the things that the providers can do and must do, but there is no regulation yet. So yun ang hinihintay natin na masabatas, na maparusahan nga, na mabigyan ng accountability, pati na yung mga nag-o-order, hindi lang yung mga nagde-deliver.
So, hustisya para sa mga delivery
It's coming, yes.
services, no? Yeah, that's great. Okay. And then, Jobert, ito ako, coming from my own, personal, I have a personal question for you. Yung, di ba, parang, why is it, iba-ibang LGUs, iba-ibang laws, iba-ibang batas. So, like, if you go to this barangay, bawal helmet. Then you go to this other barangay, dapat naka-helmet. I mean, gets mo, di ba? What I'm trying to write at.
We have a problem kasi ever since the local government code started in 1986, certain regulations or certain protocols in the way laws that are being made na-neglect na, napabayaan na. Because nag-start na nga yung precedents na local government can create their own traffic code, wherein the traffic code should be based on one national law. Kasi we have the Land Transportation Office. That's the responsibility of the Land Transportation Office.
Okay.
And by our constitution, national law cannot be superseded by a local ordinance.
Okay.
With that said, they're using the local government code to implement certain things that go beyond what is allowed and not allowed by national law. So nagkakaroon ng, they're overlapping each other when they're not supposed to.
Yes.
The LGUs have to be made aware of the limitations of the local government code. And they have to be made aware that there are certain regulations that should be based on national law, not on laws that they create for their own area. Okay, hindi porket LGU ka, pagmamay-ari mo na yung vicinity na nasasakupan mo.
Correct.
As an LGU, you are tasked by the people to take care of your jurisdiction, not to lay claim dun sa area na yon. So you're just tasked to take care of it. So with that, you have a responsibility to make sure that the laws you apply is in, it coincides with national law. You cannot go over it, or you cannot go against national law. They forget that, and that's a regular issue. And we're actually trying to fix that right now, and we're trying to work with DILG PNP in Krame, Malacanang. We're trying to work with them in making the LGUs understand that, when you apply rules on the road, you have to go with what LTO provides, because
Okay.
they are the agency tasked to apply these rules. Not just LTO, but also DPWH as
Okay.
well.
All right. Okay. Jobert, I'm going to give you free time to do your shout outs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uh, First and foremost, I'd like to say hello to all the volunteers of Motorcycle Rights Organization. If you find this session informative, please do like, share, and spread this interview with Love Love. Special shout out, of course, to Blade for sponsoring this session and having me here. It's always a privilege, and it's an honor to be able to be a part of what you do here. Also to the fans of and followers of Yob TV, my own personal channel. I hope you guys are watching, and we will be back very soon. We just took a break momentarily. So sa MRO, sa ROTP, my friends in Mindanao, I just spoke with the FMCM leader Sashi Naga. Special shout out to you. To my friends in the riding community, maraming salamat. To you, of course, love, thank you. LMFI, magandang hapon po sa inyo. To General Pase and the rest of the guys over at Lerap. I'd like to make a special shout out also to General Tagum of the HPG. Sir, we're looking forward to the project that we're working on together. To the Committee on Transportation on both the Senate and the lower house side, kay Congressman Mary Sarmiento and Senator Grace po. We're looking forward to our projects. To our friends over at Angkas, malapit na kayo bumalik sa kalsada. Please take care of your passengers and make sure that you guys are always protected. Special shout out to them also. And to the rest of the motorcycle taxi community who's waiting for the IATF protocols, we're very excited sa pagbabalik ninyo, and please make sure that you stay safe on the road. Hindi porket pinayagan kayo magiging kampante na kayo. There's so many things we want to say and read, but I know we have limited time. What's most important is for everyone who's listening and watching this right now, mag-iingat po kayo palagi, and always know and understand the rules and regulations of the streets.
Ayun. So, Kabladers, don't worry. Medyo mahaba-haba pa naman tayo having Jobert here in the radio show. But make sure to please tune in, because we're live now on Facebook, YouTube, Shopee, and Lazada. So, share, like, and subscribe to our social media. So, pwede pa kayo humabol. Yung mga, those who are actually watching us right now, pagsabihan niyo yung mga ibang friends niyo to watch, kasi matagal-tagal ko pa iihawin si Jobert.
Madami actually yung tanong ako nakikita kanina. If we can go back to those questions, so we'd love to
Yes,
answer.
Jobert, please. If you see, I think you can see on the screen, there are some messages that are meant for you. You may answer.
Okay, from Richard Cruz, bawal ang hindi nakapangalan ang CR ng motor. Ano dapat namin gawin kapag nasita LTO HPG kung nakabili pa lang ng motor namin at deed of sale pa lang hawak namin? According to RA 11235 or the Doble Plaka Law or the Motorcycle Crime Prevention Act, if you purchased a motorcycle, you have 3 to 5 days to transfer it to your name. Okay? Unless the vehicle is owned by a relative, a very close friend, or someone you're connected to, or yung talagang connected ka sa taong nagmamay-ari ng to, there is no need for you to have it transferred to you being the user. Kung hinihiram mo lang naman, di ba? But in any case, kapag nabili mo ito, dapat talaga nakapangalan na sa'yo. Right now, the LTO is trying to figure out a way for those na nakabili ng mga motorsiklo na rematado, those that were
Repossessed, no?
repossessed by the finance institutions. Kasi until they are fully paid, they cannot make any changes on the paperwork. So there's a certificate that has to come out if you are a buyer of a pre-owned motorcycle. But we have to wait for LTO. Right now, the law states na kapag nakabili ka nga ng motorsiklo, you have 3 to 5 days to change it to your name. Okay? Yun yung sinakasaad mismo sa Republic Act 11235. Sa existing law natin, it is really the responsibility of every vehicle owner. If you purchase a vehicle, you have to transfer it under your name. It's really part of the policies of Republic Act 4136. It's just not a regular practice kasi nauso nga yung buy and sell.
Yes.
So,
parang open deed of sale daw, lagi yan eh.
yes, but the deed of sale is not proof of ownership. It only helps you in selling and transferring ownership of a property. It does not provide any legal kumbaga walang legality yan in declaring ownership when it comes to regulations on the street. So kapag traffic implementation yan, let's say nakasagasa ka or naka-aksidente ka, syempre ang hahanapin nila yung may-ari ng sasakyan. Kung hindi mo pinapalitan yan, mai-implicate pa yung original owner. So it's unfair to them that you did not go through that process of changing ownership. And by the word itself, ownership, sino ba may-ari ng sasakyan? Ikaw na ba na bagong bumili o yung dating may-ari? Because if the old owner dies, for example, and the children decides to look for everything or any property under the name of their deceased relative, pwede nilang i-declare na carnap yung, according to this document, sa amin tong sasakyan na to. Nasaan tong sasakyan na to. If they declare that carnap, tapos ma-checkpoint ka, kahit may deed of sale ka, mahahassle ka pa rin. So, you see there are implications when we do not take care of changing the ownership of our title on the registration of the vehicle. It same goes with
Robert, who is responsible na para ma-change ownership? Is it the buyer, not the seller?
Oh, not the seller. The seller is now directed to report any sale of any vehicle.
To who shall the seller report to?
They report to LTO.
Okay.
So the process is, syempre, both buyer and seller has a copy of the deed of sale. You provide LTO a copy of the deed that you have already sold the vehicle. So you're basically relieved of any implications that may come if a vehicle gets involved in an incident. So, but the transfer of ownership is always the responsibility of the buyer.
Okay. And I think, or no, it should be, di ba, pag may deed of sale, it should be notarized as well.
It should be notarized, and the ID that is attached to the deed of sale should be valid, so hindi dapat yan expired. And then you will get clearance from HPG. After you get the clearance from HPG, if you are near the LTO branch where the original paper was made, you can request for the change of ownership there. But if you are far away from the original, for example, yung motor mo was originally registered in Bicol, nandito ka sa Metro Manila, magre-request ka sa LTO nearest you ng certificate of confirmation. So the certificate of confirmation is basically a document that proves that what you have with you is an original. It's not fake, it's not stolen, it's not talaib or anything. Once you receive that certificate of confirmation, now you can proceed to the change of ownership.
Okay. And this is change of ownership happens already in LTO.
In LTO na yun. So after you, when you're done with HPG, you go to LTO for the change of ownership. Others, sinasabay na nila yung registration. So, nire-renew na nila yung registration at the same time.
Okay. And then, wait, hanap pa tayo ng, eto na yon, the latest issue which we talked about earlier, Jobert, no? Yung, I think there's a motorcycle lane ba in Sukat Road in Parañaque.
Oh, yeah. So right now, the Parañaque Federation, led by Ivan Ison, is now in discussion with the Parañaque mayor and the council. And,
ano ba nangyari dyan, Robert? What's the issue?
They implemented a motorcycle lane in Parañaque, and they started apprehending last week.
Okay.
So, maraming nabigla kasi Parañaque is a city na pass-through yan from people that live in Las Piñas, Laguna, Cavite, Makati, Metro Manila. So, tinatawiran niya ng maraming tao. So, the implementation of the motorcycle lane came as a surprise to a lot of people. So, ang daming nahuli. Consequently, the mayor ordered that the motorcycle lane be an exclusive lane for motorcycles. Pero ang hinuhuli lang yung mga lumalabas ng motorcycle lane na motorsiklo. Yung mga kotse na gumagamit ng motorcycle lane, hindi hinuhuli.
Okay.
So right now, they have set a discussion with the mayor, and the mayor requested the council to revisit the ordinance and to provide an amendment that will also protect the riders and to give more time in information dissemination. Again, they're applying a law on a national road which is supposed to be under the jurisdiction of LTO as far as rules and regulations are concerned. But not even LTO has been informed of this ordinance. So, ito na yung issue when it comes to LGUs having their own laws as far as the road regulations are concerned. So, may bayan na may ganito, may bayan na walang ganito. So, it's very confusing to the road users, you know.
I mean, like, kasi ako, I haven't passed by Sukat Road for almost a month. So, just wondering, I don't know if you have passed there, na is the motorcycle lane parang kitang-kita ba or halatang meron motorcycle lane? It's like
there is
barriers or something.
There's road markings, but it is not enough. I mean, unang-una, it should have been consulted with DPWH if the segregation can support the volume of vehicles that pass through that road. And for one thing, I'm sure DPWH will say that the infrastructure will not support an exclusive lane for motorcycles only. Okay? And at the same time kasi, we are violating, we are all road taxpayers. Okay? Lahat ng may lisensya, lahat ng may rehistro, we all pay road tax. Pero if we're limited to use only a section of road, it's unfair to us taxpayers na we're being dictated in such. Now, if the problem is, accidents and discipline, edi ipatupad nila existing rules and regulations. If you're reckless, di kasuhan ka ng reckless. If you violate rules and regulations, edi hulihin ka based on the road rules and regulations. Kasi they put the motorcycle lane on the side of the road where jeepneys and other public transport stop on a regular basis.
So this is the extreme right, no?
Extreme right to.
Okay, yeah, public vehicles ngayon.
An exclusive lane does not work. Okay, it does not and will not work on that case. And nakikita naman natin they're not reducing accidents. They're just moving the accidents elsewhere.
So this is similar to yung EDSA motorcycle lane.
Motorcycle lane. It's the same thing. And the purpose of actually making road users more disciplined has turned into something else. Nagiging gatasan ngayon yung riding community because of this law. Pero sabi nga ng mayor, ang pangako nga niya, magiging exclusive ito for motorcycle. So, hindi natin alam kung tatanggapin ng mga ibang vehicle users, ng mga car users, na all of a sudden bigla silang huhulihan pagka pumapasok sila doon. And it also depends on the enforcement kung i-apply nila sa lahat yung batas na pinapatupad nila sa kalsada na yan. And at the same time, ano ang say ng LTO, ano say ng DPWH tungkol dyan? Are they allowed to create such rules which is under the jurisdiction of LTO and DPWH supposedly, or it has to be coordinated with them?
Yan. Okay, so you mentioned earlier, yan na, yung LTO, yung all these, what are they? Traffic, do you call them traffic officials or what?
The agencies that are responsible.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you for correcting me that, Jobert. Okay, for these agencies, ito yung matinding long time issue na paano daw padidisiplinahin ang mga kamotes, lalo na yung sa Marilake, mga feeling racers, wannabes.
Ang dapat talaga dyan, plain and simple, implementation of the existing road rules and regulation. That's how it's supposed to be done. We don't need additional laws. We don't need new laws. Okay? If they go beyond speed limit, hulihin nila for going beyond the speed limit. That's reckless already. If they cross a solid line, that's counterflowing, that's already reckless behavior. Hulihin nila yon pagka ganon.
I mean,
the problem is with Marilake.
Videos recently, accidents, di ba?
And one other thing that we can do also is to promote the contactless apprehension. As long as there's evidence of violations happening on the road, we can actually use videos, pictures that we submit to the enforcement agencies like the local PNP, the local LTO in that area, or LTO National or HPG. If there's enough sufficient evidence na makikita that they are violating rules and regulations, that this can be used to issue summons to the owners of these vehicles. Total, nakikita naman yung mga plaka nila sa likod. And nakukunan sila ng video. And in fact, marami na kaming na-identify recently because of the prevalence of these videos going out on YouTube, na they're very proud that they're turning the public roads and highways into racetracks.
Exactly.
Or pinagpa-practicean nila ng skills nila. But, all in all, if you look at it, they're violating the rules of the road. So marami nang hinahabol ang HPG ngayon. HPG is actually preparing the cases, but they're still coordinating with LTO para ma-identify yung owners ng mga vehicles na to. And we've seen that happen actually on EDSA, yung contactless apprehension sa EDSA. Nangyayari na rin yan sa Skyway, sa NLEX, SLEX. So more and more we're going towards that direction. Enforcement is becoming high-tech, and we can use actually the eyes of the public as far as webcams, action cameras, dash cams are concerned. We can actually submit them as evidence to apprehend these violators.
Yun. Pero, and then, ito pang isang issue regarding Marilake. I think, was it last weekend that somebody got caught for a noisy muffler, pero they don't have naman daw the gadget to check if his noise has the noise of the muffler is a violation.
Oh, that's another thing that we still have to address or fix, But regardless, we have yet to see what type of muffler is being used by the guy apprehended. Kasi the measurement is applied if you're using an aftermarket muffler used for street or is street legal. But if you're using an aftermarket muffler that is used for competition or racing, it is not meant to use for public roads and highways. So a measuring device is not needed on that. So we have yet to see what type of muffler is that person using. But in any case, we have communicated.
These guys na nanguhuli, I think they cannot tell the difference between aftermarket muffler for road use and an aftermarket muffler for racing. Basta maingay, huli ka.
Oh, that's one thing that we have to address also. Yes, we have been made aware, and I have sent correspondence to the Tanay provincial administrator,
Mhm.
Mr. Rosuelio, the father of our racer, Rainiel.
Yes.
Oh, so we have sent communication already that we would like to discuss this with their enforcement as far as the enforcement of yun nga, loud and noisy mufflers in the area. But we would like to maintain na MRO does not support loud pipes. We support the proper implementation of the laws.
Okay.
But we have to remind also our fellow riders na our rights end where the rights of others begin. Just because you're able to buy certain products off of the shelf, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can blast your way across areas na, like without a care in the world. Na, we have to be also aware of the rights of others to a quieter environment. We have to respect each other. But of course, we have to fix the laws. And, this relates to the issue nga. That relates to the issue between LGUs creating laws on their own without consultation and consulting national government in as far as creating shots ordinances. And we are addressing it. The email has been sent already, and we are just awaiting for them to respond. And we have people in Tanay already waiting to get on the subject. In fact, we have a coordinator there. He's an engineer, also working for the LGU. Has been provided and given instructions and information already on how to fix this. We're actually fixing the same thing in Marikina as of this moment.
Okay. Pero why is it always pinag-iinitan ang Marilake? I'm sure, somewhere in the Visayas and Mindanao, don't they have issues like this in
They
their
do.
Marilake? Di ba? I'm sure they have their version of Marilake also.
In fact, they do.
Hindi,
in
it's not
Cagayan-
hindi kasing sikat ng Marilake here in NCR.
Yeah, well, in fact they do. In Cagayan and in Cebu, there are incidences already. Na there was this one place nga they banned the term they used was bawal na ang banking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Banking.
Oo, bawal na
Yung term
yun.
pa eh. Ginamit pa yung term, banking.
Ginamit yung term, but in reality, the law should be you cannot cross the middle lane, especially if it's solid.
Yes.
Okay. But it's science that motorcycles lean in order for them to turn.
Right.
And if you oppose that, how can the motorcycle turn properly? But in any case, the reason why it became so famous here in Marilake is because the road itself became a playground of sorts. And it has been subject to the undisciplined nature of motorcycle users, not just motorcycle users, but speed freaks, yung mga mahilig sa mga mabibilis. So it's not just the motorcycles, it's also the car enthusiasts as well. Na ginagawa nilang playground yung Marilake, and the accidents have been rising, there has been deaths, and nabigyan ng pansin because the people who go to that area to travel have started complaining on social media. And na-emphasize tuloy yung kawalan ng disiplina ng mga riders dun sa lugar. So we can't blame these people who are complaining kasi it's their safety that's being affected. So again, I would like to reiterate na in order for us to gain respect, we have to also show respect sa rules and regulations ng kalsada. And we have to show respect sa safety ng ibang tao na gumagamit din ng kalsada.
Correct. And earlier, may naka-flash. Actually, I wanted to may naka-flash. Ayun na. Very controversial question to eh. Bakit? Dapat magkaroon din ng internal cleansing ang enforcement agency. Kasi kung sino pa, magapag?
Tagapagpatupad.
patupad sila ang madalas lumabag. Meaning in English, the law enforcers are the
Yes.
lawbreakers.
Well, we all agree with that, and in fact, the heads of the agencies also agree with that. In our recent meeting with General Tagum of the HPG, he's the new HPG chief.
Yes.
Now, one of their priorities is internal cleansing, in as far as their own enforcement is concerned, in as far as their own personnel is concerned, and they are setting up a program in which we can report both violators, mapa road user man yan na private or law enforcer.
Okay.
So we have a means now on how to make a report while we protect the anonymity of the person reporting. So we are setting up a system. Abang-abangan niyo lang ho. We don't want to get ahead of this program. Gusto namin matuloy muna yung program before we announce it. But we are working on the internal cleansing, and it's very good that you mentioned that, and we hope to be able to bring that out in the days to come.
Well, anyway naman, I'm sure yung mga concerned citizens dyan na napapansin na violators ang mga law enforcers, no? Yung mga lawbreaker na law enforcers. I think they can submit naman evidences to
Yes.
CP, di ba? Na,
Yes.
or sa LGU nila if
It's
yung,
local.
Oo, kung local pwede naman i-submit to,
And ina-action na naman yan eh. For example, yung nangyayari sa LTO ngayon, the reports that are submitted to ASEC Calvante, ASEC Calvante is actually taking action against these erring enforcers.
Okay, that's
And
good.
as far as PNP is concerned, marami na silang napaparusahan na violators nila mismo. Okay? And MMDA as well, they don't tolerate yung kanilang mga kotong enforcement.
Yes.
They're very strict on that. In fact, our friend si
Colonel Bong.
si Colonel Bong Lebriha is very keen on putting a stop on the neglective and abusive enforcement that they have.
Actually,
So,
bilhin ko sa tapang nun eh.
Oh, so they're really doing their part. But for us as private citizens, we have to provide them with the evidence they need in order for them to take action.
Actually,
Okay.
napansin ko kasi, Jobert, I think some of these concerned citizens, natatakot syempre to make sumbong. So, napapansin ko, ginagawa nila ang MRO parang isumbong mo kay Tulfo style.
Well, that's the thing. Though we appreciate that, it's still important for us to have evidence before we report anything, because it's hard to use our word against theirs. So, hindi porket may sumbong ka, hindi natin pwedeng i-report yan kung wala naman tayong ebidensyang ipapakita. So, everything has to come with evidence. With evidence, we will fight for it. If you're afraid of getting it out or you getting dragged into the issue,
Or
you can report it.
Diba?
Oo.
Oo.
You can report it to MRO. MRO will submit the report. But in any case kasi, it is your right and it is your responsibility as a citizen.
Right.
Kasi
And
you are the person, you're paying for their salaries through your taxes. So karapatan mo na i-report yung mali na ginagawa ng mga nagtatrabaho sa pamahalaan.
Correct. In fact, Jobert, with this is connected to our topic kasi I can see comments here na dapat daw may action cam for protection against buwayang officers.
Yeah.
I mean, siguro body cam, action cam.
We actually tell everyone, we always tell everyone, don't be afraid to use your telephones, the cameras on your phones. There is no law that restricts you from using your phone as a means to capture evidence. Hindi mo bawal kumuha ng video. Yung bawal kumuha ng video, if you're in private property or in the premises of someone who, a private individual, you're taking videos without their permission, yun ang bawal. But if you're on the road and you're dealing with enforcement, walang nagbabawal sa'yo to take videos for evidence.
Yeah, kasi I've seen some videos, diba, like a citizen or a rider they're having an argument with these traffic enforcers.
Mm.
Tapos, di ba, sasabihin ng traffic enforcer, or bawal yan, you can't
No, it's
hit
not.
those of us.
Oh, hindi siya bawal. Pero let me remind also, no. Let me remind everyone na we should never argue on the street. Okay? If you feel na your rights are being violated, remain as calm as possible and try to get evidence so that you can show once you file a complaint or once you contest an apprehension, it will show that you are being diplomatic about it. Okay, it is never our right to bring an argument on the street. Okay, we should never argue with any enforcer. But in any case, ang paglalaban or kung may ipaglalaban tayo, there's a proper place and forum for that, and that is through adjudication.
Yun. And then I'm reading I don't know, Jobert, can you see some comments there that maybe you'd like to answer?
Yeah, yung action cam, actually there is a law, but a lot of things have been put on hold. Gagawin na nilang requirement ang action cam sa lahat ng enforcement. Yung sa action cam requirement for motorcycle riders, we cannot make that mandatory. Alam niyo naman kung gaano kahirap ang buhay ngayon, and it's not very easy to maintain and purchase, additional accessories. Though we recommend that everyone has it, we cannot make it mandatory for economic purposes. We cannot unless ibibigay siya ng libre, why not, diba? But
Yes.
if it's not free, we cannot just direct everyone to make it or obligate them to buy something. But
Right.
first and foremost, you have to first, make sure upon yourself that you are aware of everything that's happening around you when you're driving or riding a motorcycle. You are following the rules and regulations, and you are not intentionally breaking the law. Okay? So as long as you're on that position, you should not be afraid of anything.
Uy, I like that question. Kasi
Yeah.
ako naging biktima dyan.
Yeah. This one has been a long time discussion already, and it has been debated in Congress for the longest time. Kailangan mo talaga ma-update yung ating penal code when it comes to accidents on the street, because not every accident, hindi porket ikaw yung bumangga, ikaw agad yung may kasalanan.
Right.
It doesn't happen. It's not necessarily like that. You can take it to court in order for you to fight incidences like this, but it requires time, money, effort. So not everyone has the capacity to do so. Yung iba nabubuhay lang sa minimum wage, even below minimum wage. They can't afford a lawyer. So there are laws that are being created and being pushed to address this issue, and we're hoping na sana after this pandemic, mabigyan na ulit ito ng oras at mailatag na ulit ito sa lamesa para ma-address na tong issue na to. Tama kayo, hindi lahat na aksidente sa kalsada, hindi porket ikaw yung bumangga, ikaw agad yung may kasalanan. Okay?
Yeah.
Sometimes there is also neglect on the part of the people na nabangga mo. Or whatever it is you hit on the road, there's neglect on their side as well. So the accountability should be equal, or at least you have the opportunity to prove yourself innocent from the accident or the incident. Inaayos na po yan, and we hope that after the pandemic, mapag-usapan ulit yan at maisabatas na. But then again, we have so many issues and problems right now that need more attention. So right now, the only thing we can do is to make sure that we stay safe at all times. We have a belief that an accident can always be avoided if you're only aware of your surroundings, you don't overspeed, you ride within your capacity or your limit or your skill level, and you don't ride under the influence.
Actually nga, Jobert, ako nga ganyan. Ako pa yung binangga.
Exactly.
Di ba?
So, grabe yung pinagdaanan mo rin on that part eh. So,
I survived. As in, it's a miracle that I survived. And of course, thank God I survived. I guess I have a mission pa here.
yeah.
Mission to do.
As a blader and providing information to our fellow motorists, nako, these are the things that you still have to do, and as a contribution to the community.
Yeah, and of course, kung wala ka rin, ay. Pero Jobert, no? Di ba there's also a situation na yun nga, yung a motorcycle hits a car. Di ba there was that incident na nakapark lang yata the car or a truck. A motorcycle rider hits the truck. Motorcycle rider is a minor, no license, and under the influence of alcohol. Pero ang nakulong yung driver ng truck na nakapark lang.
Well, there are many there are many levels of investigatory on that subject. Okay, number one is the truck parked in a parking zone. If he is, then there's not supposed to be no fault. Pero if he's parked in a place that he's not supposed to be parked, he bears accountability. But that's a case separate to the accident itself.
Yeah.
Now, for the rider who is unlicensed, okay, if he's of legal age, may accountability din siya for driving without registration or a license. But if he's a minor, ang may accountability dapat doon is the parent for allowing the child to ride the vehicle.
Yes, to drive the vehicle.
Oo, hindi porket wala kang lisensya, ligtas na dapat si driver, or hindi porket nakapark ka sa no parking zone, ligtas na kaagad si rider. So the case is separated in situations like this. For example, nagbanggaan tayo, wala kang dalang lisensya. Okay? Hindi pwedeng sabihin na automatic kasalanan mo. Ako yung bumangga sa'yo.
Right.
May kasalanan ako sa'yo for bumping into you, pero may kasalanan ka rin sa batas for not bringing your license.
That's right.
So we both share in accountability. It does not exclude me from my responsibility just because you did not carry your license. It doesn't work that way.
Kasi may mga cases, may mga ibang riders dyan, sila na yung pasaway, sila na may kasalanan, and then, if they get hurt from the accident, sila pa yung malakas loob maghingi ng financial needs.
Yeah, that's not supposed to be, that's not how it's supposed to
Parang
happen.
pinapalabas sila, kasi mas malaking sasakyan ka. Ako, maliit lang, motor lang. So you should be responsible for my
If the incident is your fault, wala dapat pananagutan yung na-involve.
Yeah.
Okay? If it's entirely your fault. But, alam mo naman dito sa Pilipinas, yung batas natin talagang marami pang butas, marami pang dapat ayusin.
Correct.
And these are the things that we are working on with the government in aid of legislation. That's one of the missions of MRO. We
And
still have a long way to go.
Yes.
Marami pa
At
tayong
yung
aayusin.
mot natin dyan, of course, huwag nyo naman i-abuso. Just because nakamot-mot kayo, di ba?
Oo, and we have rules and regulations. Don't intentionally break them because you think you can get away from it.
Correct.
Okay? It only makes us look worse than we already look bad as it is. So
Huwag
na
nyo
natin
na kami
dagdagan.
damayin. Imagine, Jobert, no? Grabe. How do you manage to have time, all this time, this dedication and commitment to fight for the riders?
I don't know. I guess tulad ng sinabi nga ng mga kasama ko, you're a victim of your own success. When we started in 2008, we never imagined that MRO would grow into this, that we would be joining Congress, Senate, in discussing matters of legislation. We never thought that we would get this far. But nandyan na yan eh. We just have to remain focused and true to our word. Make sure that we are not tainted by politics and we are not used by politics as well. And the main thing here is we all live under the Philippine Constitution, and we have to protect it at all cost. Otherwise, no, the Constitution will just be a suggestion na lang. Hindi na siya nagagamit to protect us. So these are the things that put us to where we are right now, and I guess it is because of the people also. As long as they continue to support MRO and the advocacy of MRO, there will always be people like us,
Yeah.
to do this. And ako, I always like to say this: hindi kami habang buhay na dito. We're not getting any younger. We have our own personal lives to live. We have our own personal challenges as well.
Yeah.
So hindi kami habang buhay na nandito. So we're trying to impart and encompass the information and education to everyone so that we can reach a point wherein MRO is no longer needed because the people can defend themselves.
And how do you call this, Jobert? You are one of the founders, or were you the founder of MRO?
I am one of the founders of
Alone
MRO.
at first? How many
No,
were
no, no,
you?
no.
No, di ba?
There are at least 12
Okay.
founders. I
Okay.
presented the idea to motorcyclephilippines.com back in the day.
During
But
Frank Wolf's time, yes.
to what made it official was a group of riders who came together in University of the Philippines, sa College of Kinetic Arts.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, there's at least 12 or 14 of us
Mhm.
who were present. And some of these people you actually know. Bimbo Isidro was there. August Ang was there.
He was here earlier. I don't know where
Uh,
he is right now.
he's probably shopping downstairs.
Yeah, I know.
But there are a lot of people who were involved. But the only active person up until today is ako nga ho. But I am part of the founding fathers of this organization.
Mhm. Wonderful. So, Jobert, we are down to our last 5 minutes. So, ito lang, I'm gonna ask you this. Okay. Who- Wala naman na eh. How are you? How is Jobert Bolanos now as a popular figure to the motorcycle industry?
Ako, personally, it is not something I enjoy very much. But it is a responsibility that I accepted and I took. It does not provide for my family. It does not, it does not pay for my family or my living. But the thing is, if I would not do this, who would? We have friends who also does these things. But again, MRO is research based. We are based on the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and since we have dedicated time and effort into studying and understanding the law of this country, it's very hard for us to pass the torch to someone else. Although we are training people right now, because I am very close to my retirement. Malapit na ho ako mag-retire. Maybe in the next, siguro the longest I will stay is 3 years. But between now and that 3 years, I am about to retire. We are in the process of training people, but they have to put in their hearts that this is not something that will gain you popularity, fame, money, power. Okay? Walang ganon sa advocacy. Advocacy is a pure volunteer mission. It is not something that you can make a living out of. Okay?
Yes.
I was just privileged enough to have people who support me, who believe in me, who are willing to sometimes cover for the expenses or help us with the expenses. But for the most part, it's out of own pocket.
Okay,
So,
but before you
without-
retire, pero before you retire, Jobert, no? How is Jobert Bolanos being a controversial dude also against his how do I call them?
it's not ano, it's not fun. It's very stressful in some cases it affects our health as well. So alam mo yun, hindi ito biro. It's not a walk in the park. It's not something na kung totoo ka sa advokasya mo, it's not something that you can enjoy.
Yes.
But the fact that you're helping out others, the fact that you are fixing what needs to be fixed, gives us a sense of pride and gives us a sense of dignity na cannot be measured in pesos or cannot be measured in fame. It cannot be measured in popularity. Sa totoo lang, kung pwede ko lang ang ibalik yung panahon, gawin kong sikreto yung pagiging chairman at founder ko ng MRO, I would do that because it's not something that I'm really very proud of. Stressful. Very stressful.
Actually, I can understand and I can relate, and I have witnessed what you have been what you went through, and what you are still going through. For being so dedicated and committed to fight for motorcycle riders, and of course, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Pero last but not the least, ito yung question ng buong bayan para sa iyo. Jobert Bolanos ba ay tatakbo sa politics?
Never. For as long as I live, I will never run for politics. I am here to be in aid of legislation, to help fix the issues of legislation, and to help protect the rights of riders. But I will not use it as a stepping stone for my own political gain. Okay? I have no intention nor I have no tawag dito, hindi ko pinangarap na maging isang politiko. In service ako of the Filipino rider, but it doesn't need to be, I don't have to be a government official in order for me to do that. I can do it as is. Kung ano ginagawa ko ngayon, happy na ako doon, hindi ko na kailangan pang tumungtong pa sa kung saan-saan. No. The answer is no.
No. So malinaw lahat mga kamot-mot and bladers, Jobert Bolanos is not running for any government position. Correct, Jobert?
Correct.
Yeah. So, ride na lang daw tayo.
Oo. Mag-Philippine loop pa tayo.
Oo nga, correct. Philippine loop. Anyway, ayan, Jobert, wala na akong tatanong. Nahiya naman ako tanongin ng mga... love life nga. Sige, last but not... Ito nang pinakahuli sa lahat. Love life. Because I'm sure nanonood ang love of your life.
Nako, sino?
Ha? Huli
Wala.
ba ako sa balita? Huli ba ako sa balita? Hindi ko. Teka, hindi. Ano na lang, after this show, magkwento ka. Anyway, ka-bladers, now once again, we are live here at Facebook, YouTube, Shopee, and Lazada. So, like, share, and subscribe. Ayan. And take note, just look for Blade Auto Center. That's our social media name. And once again, eto, si popular and controversial Jobert Bolanos. He's the chairman of the Motorcycle Rights Organization. And I'm gonna see you guys again next Tuesday. Jobert, again, salamat for being my guest on my first day here at Blade Moto Radio Show.
Always. Thank you, Love, and thank you, Blade. I've always been a fan of Blade. Kalidad yung mga produkto nila dito, especially for motorcycles. Madalas akong mamili dito ng mga pangangailangan ko sa pagmumotorsiklo. So, guys, Blade, a good source of motorcycle products.
All right, Bladers, my advice to everyone there is race on the tracks, not on the road. Yahoo! Yan.
Una pa lamang kitang masilayan, nabighanin na ako sa iyong kagandahan. Ano mga panahon na yun handa na akong mamatay. Marinig ko lamang ang napakaganda mong tinig.
Delphine nga pala.
Nelia.
Sensya ka na, Nelia. Hindi na naman nakaalam sa iyo.
Yan ka na naman eh. Ginawa mo na yan dati. Mawala ng basta-basta.
Kung gano'n mo ako katagal pinaghintay, ganun kayong tagal maghihintay.
Ikaw lang ang iibigin ko, Nelia.
Basta wag mo akong iiwan at sasaktan. Sakit na eh. Ang sakit nito.
Bakit ka nag-iisa? Hinihintay mo pa din?
Gusto ko muna mapag-isa. Victor, si Delphine. Delphine si Victor.
Victor, ang nagmamahal kay Nelia.
Delphine, ang nag-iisang mahal ni Nelia.
Wala na bang nabanggit sa akin si Nelia na may sinagot siyang isang lalaki na lagi nawawala?
Ang tanong, sino ba talaga sa dalawa yung gusto mo?
Naghihintay sa'yo.